Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land. This is Tom Bird, the Instant Meteorologist here with Southwest Team 2 on the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon fire, and we'll do a little weather update for you today like we've been doing. So good morning. This is what the satellite loop looked like as sun came up this morning. And a couple of cool things to look at. We'll wait till this loop starts over. You notice this dark band right here that it starts to shrink? That's actually a shadow that the sun's casting off of the top of these higher clouds on thunderstorm activity moving across North Texas. You move back to the west, this is now into New Mexico, and you see a lot of clear skies with some intermittent low clouds across the eastern plains of New Mexico and stacked up against the central mountain chain of New Mexico. If you were watching yesterday, you notice this is a lot less cloud cover than what we saw yesterday. But it still does show us that we do have some of that low-level moisture still in place, but we are starting to trend towards a drier environment over our area, and in particular, our fire here in the the southern Sangre de Cristo Mountains. So that's kind of the way it looked like, and already what we're seeing today is most of those low-level clouds have eroded away back to sunny skies, and now we're starting to see the development of cumulus clouds. That's the convective clouds that's genesis into showers and thunderstorms later in the day. So let's move on to the next graphic. And what we're going to see here is a look at last night's precipitation, or yesterday's precipitation. You remember yesterday we had a pretty good chance of showers and thunderstorms for the fire in northeastern New Mexico in general. And this is the big picture here showing the areas that did get rain and those that didn't. This is the Hermit's Peak fire here. This is the Cook's Peak fire. And what you'll notice is a lot of this area, like we said yesterday, it would be hit and miss. So a lot of this area did not get any rain whatsoever. And then some areas got very heavy rain right here in Union County, maybe up to 2.5 inches on that one storm cell. But you look over our fire, and if you look at the inset over here on the right, what you'll notice is we did get a few cells that came right across the heart of the fire. It kind of straddled the north zone and the south zone and moved over what we call Division Juliet and India, and that's part of our western flank that still has active fire in it. And you'll see here's the rainfall amounts. Only 1/100th of an inch on one of our raw sites that's right there in the fire, and then 400ths down here in Las Vegas at the airport. So what that means is the rainfall last night over the fire didn't wet the whole fire. In fact, most of it didn't get any. And what it did do was provide very insignificant amounts of moisture. The one thing that we have been seeing the last several days is elevated relative humidity, and that really did help with that. So let's move on to the next slide, because what this is a trace of that relative humidity. Relative humidity is a measure of the amount of moisture that's in the air. It ranges from 0 being completely dry to 100 being completely saturated. We want to see high numbers because that means the air is moist. When the air is moist, those trees and bushes and grass, they get more moist and they are not as burnable, right? But when we have periods like what we saw, this is early May 5th through the 14th, so a good 10 days of relative humidity being way down below 30%. This line here, we like to see our relative humidity get above that and stay above that because that really does moderate the fire behavior. But when they're that low, and every afternoon, when you have relative humidities dropping below 10%, this red line here, and then in the night times, every one of these peaks is a nighttime relative humidity bump, or what we call recovery. Every night it goes up, every day the RH goes down because it's relative to the temperature. So as the temperature's warm, the relative humidity goes down, and at night when the temperatures go down, the RH comes back up. So we had a long stretch early in the month of May, very dry. Then we had a brief period where we had a little bit of moisture move in. And then here on the 24th, we actually got some precipitation on the fire. So you can see the relative humidities really go way back up. Minimum relative humidity above 20%, and we were recovering back over 90%. And then late in the month, this is the 27th, going into June, so we had about 4 or 5 day period where we were exceptionally dry once again. And then we've been talking the last couple of days of that backdoor front that moved in from the east and brought some of that Gulf moisture in. And that's indicative with these higher relative humidities that we've seen over the past 72 hours. The nighttime recoveries have been well above what we had been seeing previous, with 90 to near 100%. And even during the daytime, the relative humidity stayed way up above that 30%. Remember, I said that's the line we want to stay above. The issue is we're on the back end of this moist event. Today is our transition day to where we'll start to sweep that moisture out. So let's go to our next slide, because the next slide is going to show us our weather map for today. Today, we are on the western edge of that Gulf moisture that has moved in. And what's happening today is we're going to start seeing westerly winds take that moisture and push it back east into Texas and over the eastern plains of New Mexico, Oklahoma, Kansas. Today, we still have chances for those showers and thunderstorms. We got them at about 30 to 40% over the fire. We think that they will develop earlier today than what we saw yesterday. Yesterday, it wasn't until the evening hours, about 5 o'clock and beyond, that we started seeing showers. We think we'll start seeing them at least by noon, 1 o'clock. And already, like I said, we're seeing those convective clouds develop with sunnier skies and warmer temperatures today. So today, our relative humidity will drop, but we still have some of that moisture still in play, and so we will see some of those storms. So let's move to tomorrow, and we'll see the difference between what we saw with this green hatched area over us today, which is the area where we think we'll see showers and thunderstorms, to tomorrow, where I said we're going to start pushing that moisture back off to the east. And as we do that, we're back into dry conditions, and we lose those chances for showers and thunderstorms from tomorrow going forward for several days. That also means our relative humidities will drop back down below that 30% line. It means our temperatures will start warming back above average, and we'll start seeing breezy to windy afternoons with southwest and westerly winds. So let's move on to the next slide. And this is our precipitation outlook. And we're doing it today, tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And what you'll see is today, like I said, we're on that backside of where we think we'll see precipitation, with most of it actually being off to our east. Then tonight, we sweep that moisture off to the east, and we get a dry day Saturday. No chances for showers, thunderstorms Sunday, Monday, and even Tuesday. It looks like we'll be dry, although we'll start to see moisture creep back towards us from the plains as we see more backdoor pushes of east and northeast winds. This is all Gulf of Mexico moisture that's up in the plains, and whenever we get those backdoor pushes and those winds come in from the east, that brings the moisture back into our area, and then we start seeing rain chances reintroduced into the forecast. So here we are on Wednesday, and Wednesday is the day that we think we're going to see our first decent push from the east, bringing that Gulf moisture back in. So chances for rain and storms today, and then again on Wednesday, but the 4 days between look like they'll be dry. So now I think finally we'll go to our weather matrix. Again, this is the tool that we use here on the fire. I produce one of these every day, and it gives operations a really good look at what to expect weather-wise for a bunch of different weather elements, so that they can plan accordingly. Remember, the green boxes are where we got moderated fire weather conditions that are in favor of the firefighters. It really keeps that fire behavior low, allows us to get good work in. These orange boxes or tan boxes, that's where conditions become more elevated, the potential for critical fire weather behavior. And then red, that's where we have the potential for extreme fire behavior and burning conditions. So we still have some green boxes in today and tomorrow. We're going to start flushing that moisture today. So storms early, drying late in the day. Still not really warm. The relative humidity is starting to come down, but we had good recovery this morning. And we're going to start seeing stronger west and southwest winds. Those are the winds that are going to push that moisture out. And if you look tomorrow night or tonight, not as much recovery at night, so that means we'll keep those fuels drier in the overnight, and then we're really going to lower that relative humidity tomorrow to critical values and keep it that way through Tuesday. Remember, I said these are our 4 dry days, and through that period, our temperatures will be warming to back above normal. That's a critical piece of fire behavior. And then also the winds from the west, which is actually a good thing. We want westerly winds because the fire is trying to grow to the west into that Pecos wilderness and the Pecos Valley drainages. And we really want to keep that fire pushed back into itself where all the black is already to the east. So We're actually happy to see these westerly winds through the week, but not really happy to see as strong as they might possibly end up being. So we're looking at breezy to windy conditions through the week and into midweek next week with these lower relative humidities, these warmer temperatures, and this high instability. So Jasmine, up there in the corner, I want to thank you for the ASL today. And then this is a look at your weather for the next 6 days on the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon Fire. We'll be back with you again tomorrow. Thanks for watching.